Day in today's live, I'm going to be sharing 5 super smart writing tips to become more effectively persuasive in your online marketing writing ventures. And this was inspired because, as I wrote in the description of the live today, yesterday I uploaded some of my writing to artificial intelligence and asked AI to analyze my writing style. And not so shockingly, came back with some really good things I think that are worthy of consideration. I have been marketing online since 2009. Why might you want to pay attention to some of these tips? I've had a lot of success writing things that tend to entice people to know, like, and trust me, tend to entice people to want to consume my content, tend to entice people to want to buy the things I'm offering and sell the things I'm offering. And there was actually even a time where I was an affiliate in a company, and the company owner, hey, Veroni, good to see you, noticed some of the emails that that I was sending out that were producing sales and said, hey, can you write some emails for the company? So I said, sure. So I wrote some emails, and the company starts sending these emails out, and all these sales come flying in, based on some things that I had written. So this is a talent that I think I have developed a little bit over the years. And hey, what's up, Nick? Good to see you. Thanks for saying hello. And hello to Veronique and Peter's whole family. So anyway, I'm just going to jump into this, guys. I thought this was super interesting, and I am going to share my screen. So what I did is I went to ChatGPT. Does my voice disappear when I go to that other screen? I think maybe it does. Okay, I forgot to put the audio stream into the screen share, so apologize, but I'll just go ahead and share with you what I discovered. So if you have a ChatGPT Pro membership, which is $20 a month, no affiliate program, unfortunately, there's all kinds of cool things you can do. So the one thing I did is I went into ChatGPT on desktop, I clicked on settings and beta, and then I clicked on beta features, and then I checked advanced data analysis. And this was based on a thread that I read on X about how to make AI write like you. And they had this tip to do this. So what they did was they said, first turn on that setting, then open up a new chat. Then what you can do is you can create a document with like a bunch of examples of newsletters that you've written, and then you can upload that into ChatGPT. So I did that, and the prompt was, your goal will be to reproduce a given writing style based on text samples. Start by analyzing the texts in the document and describe precisely the formatting, writing style, tone used, and editorial specifics. So what it came back with was, hey, broski, I just got a quick glance at the doc you sent over, and it's looking like a spicy meatball. And then it went on to talk a little bit about my writing style. It says, seems like conversational in tone, kind of like a chat between pals. And then it said, let me dig deeper to break down the formatting style and all that jazz. Be right back. Then it came back and said, excuse me, the tone is super conversational, and the writing style leans toward being direct and to the point. Kind of reminds me of how you'd text a buddy about something serious, but without making it a snooze fest. What do you think? And so part of the reason I went through this process is to test to see if I could train AI to write like me. So the next prompt I gave it, and by the way, I'm going to share with you a couple of the things that AI noticed about my writing, which I've already mentioned a couple: super conversational, direct and to the point, like I'm talking to a friend, which, by the way, that nails me. Like, that nails how I feel I write my emails. But there's a few more insights I'm going to be sharing from another analysis. And then what I'm going to do is I've compiled them into 5 tips with some added insights on each of the tips as I thought about how I apply these in my writing, in the hopes that you can get value, the hopes that you can pick up a tip or two to improve your writing, specifically newsletter writing. But I will give you the next prompt if you wanted to follow this test to see if you can train AI to write like you. The next prompt was, perfect. Now, based on the text samples in the document I gave you and your previous analysis, write a newsletter about, and then you insert subject, and then pay close attention to the formatting and any common points between texts, writing style, and other elements. And then I gave it a topic, and it came back with a pretty great newsletter that was in my writing style. So I think that's definitely worthy of some more research. I'm going to continue to play with this. But I also did another test with web browsing because I was curious. So one of the problems I had was GetResponse does not have a way for you to download all of your newsletters and put them in a document. So I had to open up a Google Doc and I had to copy, paste, and I did that for about 10 times. And I thought, man, it'd be really great if I could give it all of my writing rather than just 10 examples. So I opened up another chat with the goat. Thanks, I appreciate that. Sosa Empiri, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. What was I saying? Oh, so I opened up another chat. So another thing, if you don't know, that you can do with ChatGPT is it now can browse with the internet. So that's super useful, I find. Like, I think it's so cool to have this little genie in my pocket, and whenever I have a question, I just ask it, and then I see it going online and reading all the content and bringing me back the best answer so that I don't have to go search through the content. So anyway, the use case idea was, I wonder if I can give it my GetResponse newsletter archive link and have it read all my newsletters. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to do that. It said that seems there's a hiccup trying to access that page directly. But it said I could attempt to find the newsletters or similar content by Paul Hutchings through other means, blah, blah, blah. So what I said was, yeah, keep researching. And if you could find everything published online by me, Paul Hutchings from Blackfoot, Idaho, perhaps using my blog. And then I gave it my blog address. And then I gave it our company address, which has content written by me. It did that. It went and analyzed the websites, analyzed the writing, and then came back. So this is what it came back with. Based on the information provided from the page, here's a brief analysis of your writing style and formatting, Paul. 1, writing style. Your style is conversational and personal. So that was the other tip. That was the other insight that came back from the other analysis, conversational and personal. And that, I feel, is definitely me in my writing. It continues on. You address the reader directly using words like you and your, which is a great tip if you're writing newsletters. Sometimes the question is, hey, I've got thousands of people on my email list. Should I talk to them like they're a big group of people? No! Always talk to your newsletter subscribers like you're talking to one person. And AI picked up that I did that. Why do you want to do that? Because when Danny, hey Danny, thanks for the comment. He says, I've gotten so much better at writing from your tips. Thank you so much. But the reason you want to do that is because when I send out a broadcast and it's going to Danny and Nick and Veronique, when they get the email, if they open it and it feels like it was just a message that I sent to thousands of people, that's not going to affect them in the same way, right? Whereas if they open it and it feels like, holy cow, like Paul wrote an email for me, Danny. In fact, sometimes this is a little piece that can pop up to show you that you're doing this in the right way. This doesn't happen all the time, but there have been a few times over the years where I've sent out a newsletter broadcast and I've had people respond to my email thinking that I sent them a personal email specifically to them. That, I think, is meaning you're hitting the mark if people are feeling that way. So continuing on, it says you also share personal anecdotes and experiences, which brings a human touch to your writing. So that's another thing that I think AI, as awesome as it is, it can't, at least at this point, tell our own personal stories. And it's in your own personal stories that you inject into your content that does that gives a human touch to your writing and helps people feel like they know you. So definitely worth thinking about when you're writing. And then it also said there's a clear intent to build trust and rapport with the reader. Thank you, AI, for that. That is definitely an intent that I have. I believe trust and rapport is like the most important principle we can follow in marketing. And then, so anyway, writing style, that was the first one. Tone is friendly and encouraging and informative. You come across as someone who is knowledgeable yet approachable, which I'm thankful for that. And I have a couple of tips on that, how to do that in your writing that I'm going to share. Formatting your text is well organized with headings, subheadings, and bullet points, making it easy to skim through. So that's the point. If you can make your content easy to skim through, if you can make your content, when someone opens it, it looks like, this is going to be an easy read, or I can kind of skim through and find the things that stand out to me. I think that's definitely a good thing to do in your writing. And then the last thing it said was, you emphasize honesty, accurate information, and helping the reader make an informed decision. There's a clear call to action, inviting the reader to engage further if they find the information valuable. So all of those, what I did is I looked through all of those tips and I jotted down 5 tips that I want to pass along from what I learned from AI's analysis of my writing, but then also some additional insights in how you might be able to apply some of these things in more effective ways. So the first one, tone, it said super conversational, like talking to a buddy. How do I do that? Number one, whenever I write an email, I imagine I'm talking to a friend. And oftentimes when I insert the first name field, I will think of someone in my mind. I will get them in my mind, and then I will write like I'm sending them an email. That's very helpful for coming across conversational. Also use people's first name in the email with the first name field. Use you and your, like your, like you're having a one-on-one conversation. That helps with that. Write like you talk, warts and all. This is another thing you can do to make it conversational is when you write your emails, read it back to yourself and then read it out loud and ask yourself, does this sound like something I would say? Like, is this how I talk? And if it's not, change it. Write it so it reads like you would say it as if you were talking to somebody. Warts and all. That tip comes from Ben Settle. Warts and all. What does warts and all mean? Well, it means if you're in the habit of saying things like, dang, Gina, which I am, I'll write that in my emails. I just put myself in my emails. Even if it's funny or weird, put that in your content. And then the other thing for keeping the tone conversational, like talking to a buddy, is keep it light. Like, don't write emails like it's so serious. It's so like it's the end of the world if people don't read the email. It's like, when you're talking to a friend, part of the reason I think we like talking to friends is because it's just light and fun and we crack jokes and it's like not a big deal if someone says something wrong or whatever. It's just like light and fun. I think that's a big, big tip. So those are my tips for keeping your content conversational, and then direct and to the point. That was another thing that AI said that I did. Here's a formula for writing content that's direct and to the point. I didn't invent this. I picked it up somewhere, and it's basically where the formula is you tell them what you got for them. So like you do that with a benefit, like, hey, in today's email, you do that a little bit in the subject line, but then you can also do it in the email, like, hey, in today's email, I want to share with you benefit. So you tell them what you got. Here's what I got for you. Then you give it to them, and then you invite them to take action. So it's like, here's what I got for you today. Here's the thing that I said I had, and here's what you can do next if you want to take action on this information. Call to action in all of your content, I think, is really important. So those are some tips for being more direct and to the point. Formatting. So in formatting, I think you want to, here's the biggest things, is use bullet points in your content, use numbered lists in your content, and use spacing in your content. Spacing is a big one. Like when I first started marketing online, someone told me that you don't want to write content like you would be writing a book or a college essay, where it's like all the text is chunked together and it looks like a chore to read. You don't want to write paragraphs like a normal college educated person would write a paragraph, where you string 6 or 7 sentences together in one paragraph. No, what they said was write a sentence or two, enter, leave some blank space, write another sentence or two, enter, more blank space. So it's not at all like you would write in, like the colleges teach you to write, but the reason you do that is so that when someone opens up your content, I can read this. This looks easy to read. And it is easy to read. If you only have to take 1 or 2 sentences and then jump to the next one and then the next one, it just feels easy to read. Bullet points and numbered lists also help with that, and also helping people being able to scan your content. So I do have a question. What do you think about 3-liner emails that only seek the click, not the connection? For the most part, I don't like them. They might be okay, like every once in a while, but if here's how I look at it: is my email list. My goal with my email list is to serve people long term. So if my goal is to trick the click, and what I mean by that, like, what can I write in a headline that will just do anything and everything to get them to open? And then what can I say to just get them to click quick? I'm losing trust. People start to look at me as if I'm just like some scammy, spammy marketer. So I don't do that. I want to build trust with people. I want to add value to people as much as I can. And so the 3-liner emails, again, every once in a while, like if you've got something that is just quick, like, hey, Bill, quick email today, I've just got one thing for you, and then you give them the liner and then the click. That's okay every once in a while. Or if you're doing that with a link to a video that has you in it with more educational, entertaining, engaging content, that's probably okay too, because you're building more trust and rapport. But if you're just sending out like 1 or 2-liner emails every day to a sales page, to a sales page, to a sales page, there's no value there. There's no trust building, in my opinion. So thank you for that question. That was a great question. So Danny says, I love just being myself in my emails because I kind of like getting those emails. Yeah, that's a key. Like, be yourself. Be yourself. Absolutely. Great point there, Danny. Okay, so I'm almost done here. The fourth thing that AI highlighted was that I had some clear intentions in my writing. And I do think that intention matters. So you want to have an intention to be honest. Why? Because if people discover you've lied or tricked them, you'll lose them. And you don't want to be losing people. Like, the long cut is the shortcut. That's a belief that I have and that we have in our marketing community. And so always be honest, provide accurate information. But then the third one, and this is the biggest one, help them make an informed decision. That's always my intention. So like, I never want to get someone to do something just because it's something that I want them to do. No, what I would prefer is to be an educator, educate the person, give them the best information so that they can make the best decision for them, whether that's buying my thing or buying something else. Like, that doesn't matter so much to me. My number one goal is to be a helpful resource. And I think that is one of the best things that any of us can do in sales and marketing and writing online, is to just be helpful. Because if we're helpful, that builds trust over time. And I actually have just a quick example. So we've been looking into getting solar here at my house, and I've had a few different interactions with salespeople. And one of the sales persons is a guy. He's been so helpful. And he said multiple times, like, hey, even if you don't go with us, like, I just want to educate you and get you the information you need to make the best decision for you. He's sending me resources that have nothing to do with their company, that are on third-party websites, so that I can read and understand. And it's just like, man, that is such a refreshing experience where you have someone that literally just wants to help you make the best decision for you. And what's that doing in my perception of him? It's like raising my esteem of him. It's like, oh my gosh, like, if I do this, like, oh, he's looking like the right choice, because of the way that he's serving me and educating me. So those are some good intentions to have: honesty, accurate info, help them make an informed decision. And then the last tip, this is tip number 5. So I've covered tone, I've covered tips on being direct to the point, I've covered formatting, I've covered intention, and then this is the 5th super smart tip, I think. And I'm calling it super smart because AI gave me these tips. They're not coming from me, right? AI. So I got another question. So I'll get to your question here in just a second. And what's your first name? Sosa Imperi. Is Sosa your first name? Let me know in the chat. The last one is come across as knowledgeable yet approachable. Knowledgeable yet approachable. How does one do that? Couple of tips on that. One is do your best to write things that you know about from your direct personal experience. So in other words, if you're always writing about things that you know, that like you're learning, you're applying, and even if you don't know it yet, like if you learn it from a mentor, just say, hey, I learned a great tip from my mentor and I'm applying this and I'm really excited about it because it makes sense, and I wanted to pass it along to you. That makes you come across as knowledgeable because you're talking about things that are real. You're not like overhyping yourself. You're not like overblowing your knowledge. And then the approachable part, the thing that I wanted to highlight here is in marketing, there is a thing called get credibility, right? Like where you want to get people's attention, you want to show them that you're credible, and then that can entice people to want to learn more from you. But a lot of times what people do in marketing is sometimes they're always putting their results in people's faces like over and over and over. So like, hey, my name is Paul Hutchings and I've built a company that's paid out over $4 million in commissions, and I've done this and I've done that and I've done the other. If you focus on all of your highlights all the time, I don't think it makes you feel very approachable, because you're like showing that you're this big guru that's floating on a cloud. So I don't really do that often. I mean, sometimes I do. Sometimes I share my story like, hey, I went from living in a trailer to thankfully I'm retired in my 40s. Like that's a way that I think I use credibility without boasting. And I think that's the key, is if you're boasting, it makes it so you're not approachable. But if you keep things conversational, honest, sincere, you're writing about things from your direct personal experience in an honest way, that does, I believe, make you seem knowledgeable. Even if you're just learning the things, but you're being honest about it, it makes you seem knowledgeable and approachable both at the same time. And I think that's what we want to attract people to us, is we want to come across as knowledgeable, like, hey, I can help you get to where you want to go, but I'm also just a normal person like you, I'm just a normal person. I didn't fall out of the sky, some super duper online marketing guru. No, like I'm a normal person. I'm a dad. I've got 4 kids. I used to work in a job that I hated. It was in a call center. I have problems. I have struggles. I have worries. I have fears. But thankfully, I got introduced to some good information. I followed some good mentors. I stayed on the path. And lo and behold, still seemingly miraculously to me, I've been able to achieve some great results. And I think you can too. And I'd love to help you, knowledgeable and approachable. So those are my 5 super smart tips. Have they been valuable to you? Comment below. If you have any other valuable tips that I missed on communication that you think would be good to discuss here, please share them below. Want to get the best information out. Again, whether that comes from me or someone else, I don't care. I just want to get the best information to my audience and myself that I can find. And so, Sosa says, I agree. I'm brand new to this game. This really helps. Yay! I'm so glad that it helped. And so here's your question, Sosa. Should we keep sending them to the sales video landing page every time in every email? So it depends. It depends. And here's what I mean by that. What I think you don't want to do is in every email, make the point of every email to get them to the sales page. That's what you don't want to do. Does that mean you can't send the link to your sales page in every email? No, it does not. And here's how I do it, is the point of the email is to provide value to someone, that they can receive something, whether they buy anything from me or join anything I'm doing or not. That's the purpose of the email. So I write emails like that, and then in the PS line, that's where I can give a call to action that sends them to the sales page in every email. PS, hey, if you're interested, if you're open to, learning how to generate a life-changing residual income that makes it so you can grow a residual income much faster than anything I've ever seen before, I'd love to invite you to click here and take a look at this video from my mentor, Paul. I think you might like it. And if that's in a PS line, then what happens is the recipient of your newsletter, they get value first, which makes them think that, oh, wow, Sosa is actually just trying to help me. They're not just trying to get my money because they sent me something that they thought would be valuable to me. And because they did that, now I'm paying attention to their emails. I'm liking the emails. Now I might read the PS line where I see that call to action that's going to the sales page in every email. Every once in a while, you can do emails that are 100% geared to promoting the thing you're promoting. That's not a bad thing to do, but you don't want to do that every single day. A good way to think about this is like when you watch TV back in the day. I don't know if you guys were all as old as me, but back in the day when we used to watch TV, they would have all these commercials that we couldn't fast forward through, and they sucked. Like, I hated the commercials. The commercial would always come, and we would get up, we would go to the bathroom, we would go get a drink, and then we would come back when the commercial was over. Because why? Because we wanted the value. So if you think about your marketing like that, like, it's okay to have commercials in your marketing, but you don't want your marketing to be one big, long commercial. You want it to be a fun, educational movie that people are liking. And then as long as they're liking your movie, they don't mind the commercials that you work into your content, and they'll want to follow you, longer into the future. So, Sosa says, I really appreciate this. Yeah, I appreciate the questions. Thanks for being here. If you help one person with your content, success, right? So I thank you so much. So with that, guys, I'm going to close out. I am Paul Hutchings. I do these lives every day, Monday through Friday. My goal is to help as many people as I can disconnect their time from their money. Freedom through principle-centered leadership is my vision. If you want more content from me, I would love to invite you to subscribe to me on social media here, wherever you're watching this video right now. And if you want to make sure that you get all of my valuable content in the future, I would love to encourage you to visit my website, myfreedomfamily.com, subscribe to my email list. Now, when you go to that page, you'll see that it's like promoting a business, which is an awesome business, but you don't have to join the business. You don't have to be even looking for a business. If you are looking for a business, I would highly recommend you take a close look at that. But that's the doorway to get onto my email list. And lately, I'm sending a newsletter once a week, so I'm not going to bombard you with emails. I'm going to do the best that I can once a week to look back over the last week, find the most valuable things I can send you, and send that out in a newsletter. So that's myfreedomfamily.com. So Affiliate Jumpstart says, super on point as always. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. All right, guys. Well, thanks for all the engagement, and I want to encourage you to get out there, take action, go for your dreams, and I'll be back tomorrow in the next episode of The Good Parts. Take care, and bye.